Hello and welcome to the Let's Glow Show. It's Amanda Sweet, the Creative Fairy Godmother, and we're back with another amazing creative and entrepreneur. This week is amazing. We have a beautiful soul here with us today. Nina Love, your last name suits you so well.
Thank you.
When I met this wonderful woman, she wandered into Bamboo and she was like, I'm gonna hang out with you guys. I wonder if you ever do catering. And then next thing I know, she's at a event, sponsored catering, and I was like, "You're that girl that came in? Oh my gosh, beautiful!" Like when I tell you, we don't get that kind of service, we don't get that kind of experience, we don't get that kind of quality, like with the established restaurants, like just on Main Street that's been there for years. Like I'm not saying that, it just
Yeah.
the experience that we have with you is phenomenal from start to finish, from the setup, from the
Aw,
quality of the food, from the experience with you and Kutu. Like y'all are just amazing. And I know you're doing
thank
so many
you.
wonderful things. We had a couple sit downs where you told me your beautiful plethora of creative expression. And I can't wait for you to tell everybody about it. So welcome to the Let's Glow Show, Nina.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Okay, tell us all the things because you got like beautiful lists that I love to see.
Where do you want to start?
Wherever you want to start, wherever, like I got exposed to you through catering. We
Mm-hmm.
start that way, but I know that
Gotcha.
there's so much more. There's so much.
Gotcha. So let's pick a starting point. So I'm Nina Love, and that is my chosen name. We won't talk about my birth name, but I chose that name very intentionally because everything that I do is drenched with love. It's the source, it's the beginning, it's the middle, it's the end. And I'm a jazzy girl, so Nina Simone inspired my first name, as well as Nina Love Hall from Love Jones. That is my favorite movie of all time. Not because it's the best movie, but it's just so it just has a special place in my heart. It's so nostalgic. But yeah, I'm Nina Love. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and I am very, very proud to be from where I'm from. I feel like I'm the epitome of the started from the bottom, now we're here story, because I didn't even know I was poor until I went to high school in Virginia and I saw how people lived, and I was like, oh, okay. This is different, right? Because we just had so much love and so much just resource right around us. So started off in New York, went to the DMV, which is DC, Maryland, Virginia. Um, Finished high school there. I am a singer. That's my first. I know people like just know me as a chef, right? But my first love, my first passion, the gift that I started using first was my voice. So I've studied music since I was in what, third grade? No, fourth grade. Started in church, of course. Most Black girls that sing start in church, right? But classically trained. I can sing in 7 different languages. I will never not be a singer. I've not, done as much as I used to back in the day. I'm really looking forward to actually getting back into my music as I develop my personal brand. Aside from this, you know, ginormous thing that the love experience has become, which I'm very, very grateful for. But I do miss being able to be the artist and be on stage and kind of be in that flow, because that is one of the times that I feel the most connected to source. Like when I'm out in on the water, like on a cruise ship, or like just out in the middle of nowhere in the water, or when I'm on stage. That's kind of like 2 times that I feel like a literal, like just like direct connect.
I think we're aligned in that. Like I used to sing, but I'm not currently singing.
Really?
It was back in the day. We have a lot of like inner like
Hmm.
ones with that experience, but being on stage and being in the water, like two of my favorite things in the entire world. So like you give me chills.
Oh, that's awesome. It's funny too, not to deviate too much, but I am a Taurus. For anybody that cares, I am an Earth sign all day, every day. But I have such a huge connection to water. And then when I did my my natal chart, I found out that my moon is in Pisces, and so I was like, okay.
Your sun sign is Taurus, your moon sign is Pisces, and do you know your rising sign? I'm sure
My
you do.
rising is Capricorn. It's Earth, so I'm double Earth
Girl,
and in water.
wait, pause. Sun sign, Capricorn, moon sign, Taurus, rising sign, Pisces. Are you kidding? We've
Wow,
not had this conversation before.
that
I'm
is
like,
crazy.
I'm like
That's
literally my
crazy.
body is like What?
That is crazy, but that makes sense. That makes sense why we just literally we fell together like this. It makes total sense. Wow.
Oh my God. Okay. See, because I felt the same way because I only knew myself for the longest time. I'm like, Capricorn, I'm a hard worker, blah, 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 blah. And everybody that I ever met that was like into astrology was like, you don't really seem like a Capricorn. And it was like this year I figured out that my rising sign was Pisces. And I was like, oh my God.
Hmm.
Lifeguard. I love swimming. I love being in the water. I used to tell people all the time because people would always come up to me and be like, what do you mix with? And I would say, I'm a witch, I'm a mermaid, and sometimes a vampire. It's just like a stupid thing that I used to say because everybody
I'm a
was
vampire as well. That's one of my things.
dark. Like when that's the Taurus side of me. It's like the witch side is the Capricorn, the Taurus is the vampire, and the Pisces is the mermaid. It's like it makes so much.
That's so funny, but that's perfect. It's a perfect mix.
I had no
I
idea.
love it.
Oh my God,
It's
I love.
it's funny. The older I get, too, I love astrology. I've always been drawn to astrology. Anything natural, nature related, I'm like, give it to me. But
Yes,
the older I get, the more and the deeper the space of astrology kind of occupies in my life because it has stood the test of time in terms of like when relationships work out in certain ways, be it romantic or business or friends or whatever have you. It's always a what's your full chart, and then once you get all the pieces, you're like, this makes sense. And so
right.
I think it better informs us as to how we can navigate. I actually had a business friend of mine that we've been talking about doing a astrological matchmaking experience
Ooh,
because it makes the most sense, right? If you
yeah,
know this is your big three and you know what that looks like it means and what that means and how it plays with other people's big three, why
mhm.
waste people's time? Why waste your own time? Like, why
Girl,
even spin the dice? Let's just, skip to the stuff that makes sense. So yeah.
exactly. And I would ask on first dates. And when I asked my husband, I was like, so when's your birthday? And his birthday is the day after mine. So I was like, oh, you're a Capricorn. And I never dated a Capricorn before. I was like, okay. And at the time I didn't understand how to go through the birth chart as much
Hmm.
now. But then once I searched his birth chart, he's Capricorn sun, Aries moon, and a Taurus rising. And I was
Wow.
like, this is like it's perfect. But
That's why
everything
y'all work so well together.
works. But everything I read about the sun signs, it was like you guys are gonna just be friends. It's gonna be stale, it's
Mm.
work focused. But I'm like, our moon and our rising sign really like
It gives you the full picture. Yep.
exactly. And I'm like, we are not a friendship. We are friends. And I was like, we are more than just friends. It's definitely okay.
But the beauty of that is, Jim, you can move on, is that friendship should be the basis of any ship. So like if you have a solid, strong friendship, then the rest of it's easy.
Exactly. And that's what I wanted to ask you about because I know you have a big part in educating around like love and relationships, which also appeals to your beautiful name that you've chosen. So let's
Thank
talk a
you.
bit about that.
Yeah, so I have I dibble and dabble in a lot of spaces, as you know. But one of the spaces that I love the most is kind of I've self-proclaimed, right? I don't have any certifications yet, but I'm working on them. But I am polyamorous and I am kinky and I'm queer. And so I am part of my personal brand as well is developing a platform and a community around educating and creating space for polyamorous kinky people of color to really just provide support, right? And fun as well. Don't get me wrong. We're going to have some fun events, but
But
I
the
just
community,
know, huh?
it's like where do you find each other? You know?
Exactly. And where do you get the support and where do you learn and where do you feel comfortable to come out, like quote unquote, right? There's like almost like zero and then there's 100, but there's so much space in between. And so I'm new to Detroit. I've only been here since July 2022. I
It's
came from yeah, I know, right? I came from Baltimore, DC, which is a very, very vibrant, has a very, very vibrant poly and kinky and queer community. Like I'm just robust. There's a group
right.
for anything you can think of. There are all kinds of meetups, all kinds of events, all kinds of just things going on. And so trying to find my way here and find my tribe and create that base. But I fully intend to to blow the scene up once I finally get to that space. I do a lot. So I'm working on, kind of like the order of things, establishing my actual, my bread and butter business, and then my
Right.
passion projects. But
Yeah.
I've dibbled and dabbled here and there thus far. I've had a couple of photo shoots and some branding shoots that I've done, and I've done a couple podcasts. I think I did 10 Things I Wish I Knew Before Polyamory with Carmen Elaine, which was
Yeah.
really, really awesome. Really awesome, because that's the point and vision of what I'm trying to do, is to do that. Like, you don't have to go through this and make these mistakes. This is
Right.
what I wish I knew. Take heed, because it's a lot of room for error and failure and anywhere in life, especially when you're taking on a whole new love style. I like to refer to polyamory as a love style, not a lifestyle. I'm not
Mhm.
very fond of that, because that's not what it is for me. Now, some people may be lifestylers, like they dibble and dabble when they choose to, but for me, polyamory is a love style. It's who I am. If I only have one partner for the rest of my life, I will still be polyamorous. Same way as, I feel about my queer identity. I will always be a queer woman. It doesn't matter who I'm with in relationship. But when I identify as being a queer woman, that's my message to the world. Like, who
Yeah.
I am. I'm different. Like, I am not the same. I don't abide by any of these rules that have been created. None of it matters to me. I create my own reality.
Yeah.
When it comes to love and relationships, also when it comes to life, and for me, being a kinky person also was another identity to express all the things that I find pleasure in, right? Which is a huge piece for me as a Black queer woman in America. My pleasure is not really the thing that is supposed to be celebrated, right? And
Exactly.
so I find so much power in my identities, and I know there are a lot of people that do in those different spaces. So to bring all that together and to create a space where we all can just come together and play and talk and have fun and learn, I really, really look forward to that. And I feel like along the way, I've been meeting so many awesome people that have been kind of providing a network of a base, because you have to vet in life. You have to vet, especially as you get older. Like, I posted the other day on my social media, like, at a certain age, liabilities cannot even enter into the space. Assets only, right? And that's in every walk of life. That's in your personal life. That's in your romantic relationships. That's in your business relationships. And vetting is one of the hugest, I think, values in the kinky and polyamorous community that I feel like we can use on the other side. Because what is the rush? Take the time to get to know the people that you are going to be in relationship with, in business with, like in anything with, like, because
Just
you can save so much time, so much heartache, so much money, so much anything, if you just step back, take a minute, and actually, like, let time and let space and energy work through some things, as opposed to, dashing to
right.
some destination. It should be about the journey, and in all these spaces. So yeah,
I
I actually found a certification I'm so excited about.
feel
It's like
good. Oh,
a non-monogamous I can't remember the exact title right now, but it's pretty much to educate me further to be able to support people that that identify as polyamorous and want to kind of transition from monogamy to polyamory. And that, I hate the word alternative, but it's for folks that pretty much are choosing alternative, meaning not monogamy, not vanilla life, to be
right.
able to support them, because that's important. Like, being in this world for the past, I guess, 6 years now, I'm just like, officially, it's like there's so much, people get so taken advantage of, so abused. There's so many people that just don't know, and you don't know what you don't know, right? And
Yeah.
so I'm just really, in all the spaces in my life that I occupy, education is huge for me, because I want my legacy to be, I gave it all away. So anything I learn, I know, I study, I've mastered, I want to just give it away. That's why I teach cooking classes. That's why, huh?
That's the Capricorn in you.
Yeah. It's funny. I definitely see, now that I know my full birth chart, right? I see the Capricorn in me more than I ever would have liked to admit or acknowledge
I
before.
so
What'd you say?
I said I could see it from a mile away. I mean, you're
You know
um
what? Business. The
entrepreneur.
business. Hmm. Yep.
I
The
love
business, the no nonsense, the leader in me. Yep, I see it now more than ever, now that I know. Because before, I
it.
only did it like within the last 2 years, and I was like, oh my God, I almost cried. So I'm very emotional, and I'm like, where does this come from? Because this is not, I don't know that this is a tourist thing. Then I
Right.
did mine, and I'm always drawn to water, like literally. I know people see me all over and running all the time, and like they talk to me. I'm like, I'm so tired, I'm so busy, and they're like, well,
Yeah.
what do you do? How do you take care of yourself? I literally soak in the jacuzzi for hours. It is my happy place. Like I literally, unfortunately, work sometimes. I have my tablet and I'll be, on my phone,
Oh,
my tablet working, but it'll be like an on and off. I'll, work for 20 minutes and then soak for 30 minutes, and then
yeah.
and then I go into the steam room for 20 minutes. Like I
That's
literally, water
weird.
is so healing to me. It
Oh,
My skin looks better after I'm done. Like I feel softer. It's something
yeah.
about the energy of moving water that and so when I did my chart, I was like, this makes so much sense. From the emotional part to the attraction to water, I'm like, I see that Pisces, and that definitely I know people see, because that's what ascendant is about, right? The way the world perceives you, the way the world sees you. I know people see the Capricorn because they see me most times in business. And so I don't play about my business. I work
Yeah.
hard to create the legacy and the living legacy and the foundation that I've created over the past 20 years. So I
Hmm.
am very serious about it, and I am very unapologetic about it. In
Yeah.
personal, I'm the softest teddy bear you ever find, but when it comes to business, I'm like, I do not play.
Yes, I love that. Okay, well, let's talk about the business side a little bit because you have a lot of beautiful things going on, which congratulations. But for
Thank
those of you
you.
that don't know, for those of us that don't know you and don't know what's going on, let's talk a little bit about the love
Okay.
experience.
So the love experience, my baby. So I started cooking a very long time ago. I'll be 40 next month, and I started cooking when I was 18.
Mm,
Um, I wasn't doing the best in school. My grades had dropped, and I was like, pause, because I'm there's a perfectionism that comes with that Capricorn ascendant, and I was like, yeah, I'm not really used to getting D's and stuff. Let me just take a minute and see what I want, right? And so I stopped going to college. I was at City College at the time. I started off at Howard University, HU, um, and I was first international business major because I wanted to take over the world as a businesswoman and wear these fly suits and travel to all these places and do all these things. And then I was like, maybe not. And I auditioned for the jazz vocal program for going from my freshman year to my sophomore year. Was sick to death of my audition. Hoarse, could not, like. I was like, Lord, why? But for whatever God's grace, the woman that was auditioning me, she heard through all of that, and she accepted me. So I got accepted to the jazz vocal program at Howard University, which is a huge deal. Excuse me. But then decided not to go back to Howard because I was like, do I want to graduate with all this debt, or do I want to go back home and go to school for free? So in New York, we have the city university system called CUNY, and we have the state university system called SUNY. And so, as the resident of the city, the state, I get to go to school for free for the most part. Of course, financial aid involved and all that stuff. So I was like, let's be a smart steward of my education. So I decided to go to City College, right?
love
And then I was like, let's just, like, I want to be a lawyer. I think I would be a really good lawyer. Like I can debate, like, I can go toe to toe with the best of them. So I was like, let's be a lawyer. And so I decided to study um pre-law. Then I was like, there's no such thing as like pre-law for real. There is, but the majors need to be either English or political science.
it. Okay.
So I went to political science, and I was like, this is not going to work. It brought my vibration down so much because this learning about this country and how it works politically is very depressing.
Sure.
And I had enough, and I was like, let me just stop. And I was like, I'll go back to DC, kick it for a little bit. My girls are there. Everybody that I went to school with, I started Howard with, is there, and it was our going toward the end of our time there. And
Yeah.
so I was like, I have to work. I need a job, and there was a catering kitchen like close to where we lived, and I was like, let me try it. Why not? I can cook. I come from a family of people that can throw down. So let's try it. Got in that kitchen, and within a month, I took it over. Like I was like, it came so naturally to me. Like
Yeah.
it was like I could have a blindfold on and get in there and just do my thing. And I was like, wow. And I've always been a spiritual person. So when I experienced that, I knew that it was something divine. It was much bigger than me. Um, and so then and said I wanted to go to culinary school because I was like, well, maybe that's it. Maybe I don't need to go to regular college. I need to go to culinary school. Tried, didn't work out. Was
Mm,
sad about it. Didn't have the finance at the time. I got in, but didn't have the money. Culinary school is very expensive, very very expensive. Um, and if you don't have the funds, it just sometimes it doesn't work out. And so, I just was like, you know what, I'm going to focus this energy and this talent that I have and just see where it takes me. And that was the beginning of my culinary journey at 18, all those years ago, and started cooking in all the different kitchens in DC, and rose up so fast. Like usually it takes you time. You got to be a prep cook, then you got to be a line cook, then you got to be a, supervisor, all these things until you get up there. I became a sous chef within months, which usually takes years, right? And so I was like, okay, I see you. You got me. And I kind of just I soared from there. We moved down to Atlanta, cooked in Atlanta for a little bit, and then came back to DC. And when I came back, I was a little bit older, had a little bit more experience. I started working at I first started working at the Pentagon. So I was a chef at the Pentagon and I was a chef at the House of Representatives within the same company, catering. And I decided I wanted to do my own thing. I was like, I can cook really well and I care about people, which is missing in hospitality. Like they churn and burn us like we're just a number, they don't. And I'm not sure about other industries because I haven't been in them. But in our industry, it's you're disposable, and I hated that. And I hated just, this big box feeling of food. I'm like, food is energy, it's magic. It shouldn't be like unboxing and heating and giving it to people. So I was like, I can do this better, not in a negative way to down it.
Yeah,
exactly. And I can elevate this. And so I started my own catering company back then in about 2010, 2012. And I've been rocking ever since. And so when I was back home in Baltimore at the time, my brother who had come to Detroit has been doing amazing things in the city. Is like, you need to be in Detroit. Like you said, if you're doing what you're doing down there, you can do it here. And there's so much opportunity and resource here for you. And I'm like, I trust him. I love him. I know he knows what he's talking about. I sold my house and I came. And so when I got here, Cater to You was my first name of my first company. I was like, I want to cater to people. So I was like, Cater to You, right? And then the Love Dynasty is what that evolved into as I started to get more into, the event space. I was like, I have a big vision. So I think Dynasty is, appropriate because it's going to be massive, right? And I had all these different pieces that I was planning out for it. And so that was when I was in DC, Baltimore, I operated under the Love Dynasty. Then when I got here, I was like, Love is my brand. Like, that is clear. I changed my name from Nina B. Folks that know me from back in the day will know, Nina B, Chef Nina B. But now I changed it to Nina Love. I was like, that's way more appropriate. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, I need a name. Like, what is gonna make people like inquisitive, curious, but also feel good, like, and denote that it's more than just about food, because that is just the beginning. Most people, their first introduction to me is food, and as you know, there's just so much more. And so that's when I came up with the Love Experience, because one, I'm an experience. That's just kind of in all my little profiles on my socials, dating profile. I'm an experience. Are you ready? That's all I put. I don't have time to write all of this shit because I am an experience. If you're ready, come find out. Come see. If not, then pass on. But the Love Experience just felt good. And what we do when we create, like you spoke to,
Really, I want to pause you really quick. So I want to take it back to two particular topics. One is the name, and two is the remaking of yourself over and over again. Mm-hmm. So for me, I feel like I was gifted my name. My name is my government name. Amanda Sweet is the name.
Wow.
And that's I feel awesome. Very lucky to have it because it fits me. But growing up, I hated the name Amanda because everybody was named. There's 70 Amandas everywhere you go. My boss's name is Amanda. My best friend's name's Amanda. We just hired another person. Her name is Amanda, but she goes by Mandy. So 3 person team, Amanda. So for me, name was a big thing. And I never understood why I never clicked with it. And when I first got up on the scene, when I started hosting and emceeing and doing hip hop shows and stuff in Detroit, my Instagram name was Amanda Lee. My middle name is Lee. So it was Amanda Lee. And I was like, this is just not hitting. And I changed it to Amanda Sweet 106, as some of you know back in the day. And people be like, is that 106 in Park? Are you from New York? And I'm like, no. And but more recently it's been Amanda Sweet Live. But I've been thinking about my name, especially being in a leadership role with another leader who's a co-founder whose name is also Amanda. And I'm like, people constantly are you Amanda? And I'm always like, no, I'm the other Amanda. Amanda. And I'm like, I'm not the other Amanda. That is not how I want to be.
That's what I am. Yeah.
No, I'm Amanda Sweet. That's Amanda Lawan and I'm Amanda Sweet. And that's its own thing. And so
yes.
He calls me Amanda Sweet. He never calls me Amanda. When he does, it's weird. It's he's rubbing me backwards. I'm like, ugh. But it's he's like, Amanda Sweet, Amanda Sweet. And so now I'm like, that is the name. It's one name. It's not two names. It's not Amanda or Miss Sweet. It's Amanda Sweet. That's the name.
I love it.
it was a big identity shift. I'm like, no, I am a 2-name person. That's my full name. You know? It was a big energetic change. And so I'm kind of curious about that energetic change for you, because for me it was like I'm stepping into my power, my identity. This is who I am. And when you introduced yourself to me as Nina Love, it just clicked. It made sense. I was like,
Exactly. Yep.
of course, I had no hesitation, no like I was like, that makes sense for you. Like, so what was that experience like? Because I'm a full form believer of like reforming, remaking, coming out.
Yes. Regenerating. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was similar. It was very much so. Who am I? Right. I'm so focused on legacy. Like that is so huge for me. I don't know why I'm so obsessed, but I am. I just want to. I always say in a lot of my interviews, I truly wholeheartedly believe that you should leave any space, any place, any person, anything better than you found it. And for me, that includes this world. And so the best gift I can give this world is to be the most amazing, giving, pour everything out, loving, kind, dynamic person that I can be. Like we have this one chance to like do the things, right?
Oh
And
my God.
so for me,
To me.
naming yourself, like, coming from, unfortunately, of course, as a Black American, we've been kind of separated from our African traditions. But I know that in African traditions and in a lot of indigenous traditions, the naming part of life, that piece is huge, right? And it's very ceremonial. And because we didn't have that per se, like I wanted to do that for myself, and the first step of it was the Nina, like from what I was given, because I wanted to feel good in my name, and Nina felt good, and people, it's jazzy, like it's me, right?
Yeah.
And adding the love to that, which brought me to my business name, it's seal. It's like it's almost like a seal of like divinity. Like, yep, that's who she is. Because most people's names, right, they are supposed to describe who they are in this life. And so for me, the love piece, like Nina's is cute. Like that was the first part, but the love, I could just go by love and I'll be fine with that, right? But sealing it with love it just, I don't have to say much, because when people experience me and they learn my name, they're like, oh, okay, I get it. That makes sense. And for me, that's exactly what I wanted the love experience to be. I wanted people to know we do food, right? Among other things, but then to hear the name, there's no other equation that you can put together. When we do food and then the name is the love experience, you're not like, oh, well, what does that mean? Well, what did you do? Okay, I get it. And then when you see it and you feel it, you're like, it all is, and even in understanding, it's an experience. It's an experience to even understand what the love experience is. Like I watch it happen all the time, and it makes me so happy when people look at the setup and they experience myself and my team, Kutu, Vaughn. They're like, I can see like this. Okay, and that is exactly why I chose the name that I chose. So that even if we do a drop off and I'm not there, people are like, okay, this is the love experience. That it just makes my heart so happy.
I love it. And it's like you can feel it from the moment you talk to you, the moment, like even Kutu, like I just want to give flowers to Kutu because she is
big up to Kutu.
Oh my gosh, she is just like both, like when I met you, I was like, this is a whole soul full energy. This is a whole soul. This is a whole human coming to me who knows who she is and experiences herself and allows other people to experience her. And then when Kutu walked in, and she's a little bit more reserved than you, but she's not, like, she is a full force, soulful. And like the first time we spoke to each other, I was like, oh, you are obviously related. Like,
yep, that's my cousin.
Just like related, like blood relations. I was like, you come from a star. Like
energy, yep. I agree.
Like she vibrates on such like a cool way. I'm just like, these are some cool chicks. Like I absolutely
no.
And like
listen
with you.
Blessings.
Oh my gosh, both of you guys are amazing. So
I appreciate that.
I love a couple things that you said. Like I fully believe, like my dream is to leave this earth like fully ringed out. Like fully
pour
ringed
it all
out.
out.
Everything that I have in me, I want to put out there. And like more recently, like in the time that I've known you, I feel like I'm stepping into that even more. Like I spent so much time as a young woman, like just being afraid of what people might think or people's perceptions or if people would care or whatever. And through this most recent experience that I had, actually the day we were supposed to record 2 weeks ago was the day I had my miscarriage. And so like that whole experience of like getting pregnant, going through like 11 weeks of pregnancy, and then losing our child, and then also having the experience of having an abortion from an abusive partner, and like reliving some of that trauma, like when I got pregnant. And now with the astrology thing, that like everybody's been telling me, well, that DNA of that baby's going to be with you forever, and that baby is forever. And so, and now I'm just like, okay, so I got even more earth and grounded energy in my DNA. Like it's never going to go anywhere. And so now I'm just like, why? Who am I playing small for?
Yes.
It's not for, nobody's asking me to show up
less than.
Exactly. Everybody is giving me nothing but praise and positive energy and good, loving energy and juicy goodness like this. So I'm like, who am I playing small? I'm playing small for me. Well, I don't want to have dynasty too. I have a big vision. And I'm like, I see all of this stuff for my future and my community and for my family. And so like, I love that you said that. And I will walk with you. I will run with you because I've seen it for myself forever. And it wasn't until this most recent experience. And I like, a lot of people have been texting me and been like, are you okay? Like not on social, but are you okay? And I'm like, no, like this, I'm taking this experience as a catalyst.
Good.
The door that's open. It's like the universe was said, this is now the path and this is the way you're going to go. So I am running with it. It's like,
that's good.
You know, so I feel you on so many levels with the like finding your name and changing your identity and going and trying again and just showing up for yourself because your drive is just forcing you to. So I'm curious about this most recent, like all the news stories about you. Tell me a story.
You said what?
I said, tell me a story about this recent news article, this recent announcement.
Gotcha. Okay, so yes, so when I got here in July, I came to expand the business, and I became a member of the Metro Detroit Black Business Alliance. And I know most people probably think I work for them because all I ever do is talk about them and sing their praises because they literally are the best thing that's happened to me in my business life thus far. And so MDBBA, as we call it, because who wants to say that whole long name all the time, or Black Business Alliance as they go by now, it's just an amazing organization that literally they put the money where their mouth is in terms of supporting Black businesses and equipping them with the tools to expand their businesses, to start their businesses, to close the racial wealth gap, to really like just. A lot of people talk about, oh, we support minority business, we support women-owned business, we support, but where, when, how, what is that in real life? Like, how does that translate into a tangible thing, right? And so the resources and the networking and the community and camaraderie that I have found in MDBBA has literally changed my life. And I've been in business for a long time, and so being here, I just said this on the news the other day, the ecosystem for small businesses in Detroit is bar none. I've never seen it, never experienced it. Like, it is so refreshing, and it's so overwhelming because like being a solopreneur for so long, literally like I've served some of the most amazing, phenomenal clients in DC, Baltimore. I'm talking about dignitaries from all around the globe, like high level clientele, senators and, congressmen and women. But like, I did that because God was just in me, leading me and guiding me. Here, it literally, meeting one or two people when I first came here and working with them has literally catapulted into this big, beautiful, budding brand because of the network and because of the resources and because of like just the energy of what's happening in Detroit with small businesses. And I'm just like, look, sign me up. Like, because, you hear all kinds of things about all different types, cities, especially I feel like cities where they're predominantly Black. And I'm just like, first of all, I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from Brownsville. For anybody that knows what that means, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm like, put me anywhere. Like, I am going to thrive. I am the rose that grows from any concrete. Like, it's not even a thought. But like, being here in this environment, in this time, is literally like, God was like, yeah, you there. Right. Yeah. And because I am with that organization, they advocate. So advocacy is another part of MDBA's mission. It's not just, oh, get the money, help you get the money that we've, give. It's also advocating for businesses and for small businesses particularly. And they knew that the draft was coming, and they knew what it took to position us to be able to participate, because inclusion is also something that they're about. Like, you come into, Detroit, you need to be using Detroit-based businesses for whatever. I don't care what it is, And so the NFL draft was no different. And so back in November, they, told us that the draft was coming, and that there were steps that needed to be taken to be able to even be considered. And so they equipped us with the certifications. You have to, be a minority-owned business and a woman-owned business for certain opportunities, not just the draft, but so they think about things so holistically. So for any of the sports commission opportunities, like that come from any of the teams, any of the opportunities, you have to, or it will behoove you, right, to be certified in these spaces, because they have to, when they're giving these contracts out and these bids out, they have to include a certain percentage of these types of businesses. And so that was the first step, and that was really cool in of itself, because, like, of course I'm a woman, of course I'm a Black woman, but like, to have that stamped on my business, it literally elevates me and puts me in a pool and sets me apart, which is one of the things that I'm after. So that was the first step, and then we received the RFP, and to cater for the draft. And so that in of itself was a whole process, because that is something that you don't even have any clue about how to do until it's just thrown to you. And I've been with companies that we've received RFQs, or we've put them in as the company, but I'm just the chef. So my portion is just to show up for a tasting, make us look good, make the food taste good, but never having to be the CEO that's really putting it together and crunching numbers and, grabbing all the collateral, all the media that I've done, all my resources, showing what I've done over the past, decade and a half. And so that process in of itself was just like, it was very humbling and very satisfying and gratifying. I was like, damn, I kind of am that chick. Like, and like, to be able to even be considered for something like this is huge, because you have to have a certain portfolio. The people that I've reached out to give me references, I'm like, I've only been here since July of 2022, and people really rock with me and like love me and support me and want to see me win. That was very emotional for me as well, because that spoke to the love experience that I'm creating, right? People get it, and they're aligned with it. And so that was it made me so happy and grateful. And so I submitted all my paperwork and waited and waited and waited and waited. And then I was, told that I was chosen. They chose the Love Experience to cater for the production team. So the crew that's actually producing the draft, we have been selected to cater breakfast, lunch, and dinner for them for the week leading up to the draft, during the draft, down in Hart Plaza. So, yep. Thank you.
Celebrate. That's amazing. I'm so
thank you.
I am not surprised at all. Like, and it just, I'm getting emotional just thinking about like the way, one, it's unfolding for you. I'm so happy for you. And like, I just love that. I love to hear about your experience with Detroit.
Okay.
I'm emotional about it, but it's something, it's like, I grew up here. Like I'm born and raised here, and I've traveled the world, and I've talked about like our city and what we're doing. And, even being here, like I don't live in Detroit proper, but like I'm in the city. I'm outside. We do stuff.
Yes, you are outside.
We do stuff with the city. And so like going outside of Detroit and just having these like really uncomfortable conversations. Like I went to Israel, and this was like in 2008. I like did a trip, and the people there were like, "Oh, you live in Detroit? Isn't it dangerous?"
Exactly.
And I was like, there's literally a man standing there with an AK-47 for security. He has to be with us. Like we can't
make it make sense
with this person. Yeah. And we, and not to throw shade or not to be, controversial, but like we went to Boston and had this, we got turned away from a bar. This guy was like, "Where are you guys from?" And we're like, "We're from Detroit." And they're like, "You can't come in here." And I was like, "What?" Like, and I was like, if you just don't like fat girls, like say that. But it's like constantly conversations like that, like everywhere I go. When I went to Europe, it was the same thing. And I'm like, you guys don't understand the quality of human, the quality of business, the quality of art, the quality of culture that like Detroit brings to the table. Why? I don't know. I told my girlfriend the other day, I was like, I cry like once a quarter. This quarter, it's been like,
Crying is so, that's that water. The water has to come out of you too. I love it.
Watering. So like beautiful to hear it and understand and see your story like unfolding in 2 years. You were able to accomplish that when like I'm just so like proud of you. I'm proud of our city for showing
Yeah,
up. Proud of
absolutely.
your brothers with the organization
Richard
that
is
you're
right. He's the COO. Kai Bowman, yep. Whole phenom, that
like
guy.
such a
Yeah.
beautiful
But I
this.
honestly, I'm glad that you have that emotional response, because I think to be from a place that gives you so much pride and joy is huge. Like, and I think the reason that I can come into, I do that. I am consistent, right? I'm from Brooklyn. I love my city. Like, I mean, not even New York. I love Brooklyn. Like, I am from Brooklyn. I'm not from New York. I'm from Brooklyn, right? And there's an energy that is Brooklyn, and I know most people feel it when they talk. They like, where are you from? Like, it's not New York. It's Brooklyn specifically, very specifically. When I was in Baltimore, the same. So I always tell people that Baltimore and Detroit are twin cities, right? There's so much synergy. There's so much of the same story in terms of what happened to it, and how it got from where it was when it was mapped out and designed to where it is now. The grit, the grind, the hustle, the majority Black population. Like, it's the culture is so much, the art. Oh my God. When I got here, I'm an artist at my heart. Like, that art makes me happy. Seeing all this street art and like just being surrounded by artists. The art community in Detroit is so crazy.
Oh,
Like, I'm like, this is madness. And so for me, I find the beauty wherever I go, because I'm a very spiritual and a very divine person. And I know that everything that we see is a manifestation of somewhere or the other of the divine. And so art reminds me of that. Nature reminds me of that. And so I always look for the beauties. I always look to be connected further to the divine. And so anywhere I go, I'm always like looking for the beauty. Like, and finding the beauty in things that people don't traditionally find beautiful, right? Because it's all magical to me. And like, people taking their abilities and turning them, it's just like cooking, right? You have these raw ingredients, and then you do this magical process, right? And then you get this beautiful outcome. Like, that is how I approach life. I'm that's how I think. And so every place that I've been, call home eventually, that's what I do. I go and I study and I explore and I discover. And I usually have people that are from there like, damn, you really love X, Y, and Z. I've got the same thing in Baltimore. I didn't even know that was there. Where is that? How'd you find that? You really love Baltimore. You really love the same. Like, that's just, I'm always gonna be that girl. It doesn't matter where. I mean, my thing is this: if you can't, then you don't need to be there. You don't need to be in a place where you don't appreciate.
it's
And
practicing misery and you're practicing like it's all what you practice like
yes,
and happiness, joy, and magic and
gratitude. Yes.
gratitude. That's all practice. It's all a muscle.
Mhm.
And so,
It
like, whether you're
is.
on vacation or you're moving somewhere new, it's all about like what you practice. And like, I've been saying this for forever, but it really came out in this last 2 weeks. Like, when that happened to us in the hospital, me and Breezy are like, what are you grateful for? What's the
Ah,
lesson? What are we learning? What do we like? What can we do? How can we, how can we
yes.
help each other? How can we learn more about this person who's giving us this news, who was now a stranger and now has to be the person that told us, So like it's
Mhm.
all what you practice and it comes out in times of stress and in times of joy. And so
Mhm.
I think I got that from Detroit. Like I think I got that from
Mhm.
like it's all like even people, projects, like ways of expression, everything's everything's just under the surface. Nothing is going to be like a Google search. Nothing is going
Mhm.
to be like on a profile. Like all that real connection comes
Yes. In
from the
real life.
just under the surface. Like Detroit
Mhm.
has so much beautiful stuff. And I have a girlfriend who's gonna watch this. My girl Jay, who lives in New York, who went to school here in college, and she's like, I don't really like Detroit is okay, but New York is better. And I'm like, you didn't see the real Detroit. That's not like Googling what to do on a Friday is not gonna give you what you did. I have another girlfriend who probably won't watch this, but she lives in Texas. She's from Texas, and she ended up being in the same city as me, but she taught at my university for a couple years.
Mhm.
And when I went to her city, I was like, "You live here?" And I was like, "Why'd you leave Detroit?" And she was like, "Eh." I was like, "You never left campus. You never left." We went to Lawrence Tech. She taught at Lawrence Tech. I was like, you were in the Lawrence Tech Southfield bubble. Like there's just residents. There's residents and food there. There's nothing else.
Yeah, she need to explore and see.
Stuff though in Southfield, like the exec or the the executive director of the chamber. Her name is Jasmine. She's doing really, really dope stuff. There's like a new venue that just opened up over there. From actually, I think I saw a picture of you and her. I think she's the managing director at Eastern Market. I don't know what her actual
Jasmine.
not Jasmine, but a woman that works at Eastern Market just opened up a venue in Southfield.
Chef E?
She's not a chef.
Okay. I don't know who you're talking about.
But anyways, that's no shade on Southfield. Like that's where I was born and raised in Southfield. Like I love Southfield. But I'm like, if you come from somewhere else and don't go to the city because of the reputation and then leave feeling like that was worthless, that's on you. Because it's beautiful. And every city has its just under the surface real
everywhere in the world. That's why I'm like, it's just such a weird flex to do that. I feel like Baltimore is singled out for that. Detroit is singled out for that. And I'm sure there are others, but it's like, it's just weird. It's weird to me. Anywhere you go in the world, you will find all of the things, the range of negative experiences. Also, like you said, it's all to do with you. Like people always are like, girl, you going here at this time and you don't I'm like, I don't think like that. I literally never think I don't think I'm gonna leave my house and I have to protect myself. I'm not saying I shouldn't, right? It's neutral. But I know that I'm a powerful manifester. And I'm almost 40 and I literally walk around with this same energy that I've been walking around every city I've ever lived in with. I speak to everyone. I smile. I share love. I will speak to a homeless person, hold a conversation the same way I would with, like, I create my reality. And so that is why I think I get to experience life in these cities in the way that I do. Like, I live for like those serendipitous like type moments where you just are discovering and finding, and you just, the nights that roll into the mornings and you just meet this person and go to that place and discover this hole in the wall. Like that's what life is about. Like, and if you don't do that, you don't really truly get to experience a place. Like, and you can't really have a full-bodied, holistic opinion on it. Like, you didn't do it. You don't. What don't you like? Like, you don't like the fact that there's crime. There's crime everywhere. So check that box. Next, like unless you're gonna live in a bunker somewhere, you're not gonna experience a city in America or in the world that's not susceptible to the things that are undesirable. So yeah, I love Detroit.
There's crime, there's art. Everywhere there's like poverty, there's culture.
Poverty, exactly. And that's what I try to explain to people. It's not the city thing. It's a poverty thing. Anywhere that you have poverty amongst all this money and all these resources, and it doesn't make sense, you're always going to have a problem with poverty, with crime, because people are going to do whatever they have to do to survive. And I have no fight in the game. I can't tell somebody who's living in extreme poverty what they should or should not do, especially if I can't get them out. Like, that's not my place, So it's just weird how people, I feel like, frame a lot of things, and I try my best to frame things in a way that actually make sense. Like,
I'm curious how you came to be that way. Like, have you always been this way? Have you always been like a lead with love, like show up authentically kind of person, or was it like taught through life experience?
I think so. I've lost both my parents, like my birth parents. So my aunt, who's my mom, she raised me after my grandmother passed. So my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, she was the first one to like have me, like, in terms of raising me. I refer to her as my astral mate because we only had 9 years together. She died when I was 9, most devastating year of my life. My birth mother died that year as well. So rough year, but we had this kinship and this connection that was inexplicable. It was beyond, your average grandmother relationship. And so I knew I didn't know when I was that age what it was. I just knew there was something deeper, bigger, more meaningful going on here. And she was the epitome of love, literally. Like, that woman, like, the sound of her voice, just the way she affected people's lives, and like the way she saw and valued humans, like, and animals. Like, I'm talking about, like, she was everything. And so being so close to her physically and spiritually, I feel like I absorbed that love, and I absorbed that desire to love and to give it away. Like, we would come home sometime, my sister and I, and there'll be like random people in our house, and we're like,
hello.
Like, she would pick up people that needed somewhere to stay and like have them like iron our clothes to make them feel like they were contributing, but she would let them stay and she would feed them, and like, she was just like she was one of those rare, beautiful spirits that you don't come across very often. And I sucked up and soaked up everything, I feel like, in those 9 years that my little mind could, comprehend and take from her. And I think that was the foundation for me. And I wanted to be as much like her as I could. I wanted people to feel like she made them feel and like how she made me feel, right? And that was the beginning of me living this life of service. And she was a servant. I've never met a giver more giving, and I wanted to be that way as I saw how it transformed people's lives. Even, talking this about having a homeless person, right, have a warm place to live for a week, and warm meals and care and energy and love, like you matter or you important. That, who knows what, I don't know, I was a kid, but who knows what happened to them after that. That is what I saw and was around, and that's what I wanted to emulate that. And so that's where it comes from.
I love that.
Possibly. Yep.
Beautiful. You remind me of my childhood. I have to like give my mom flowers for that too, because my mom is a whole giving person, and she's a survivor of human trafficking. And so like the way she walks in the world is unlike any person I've ever seen. She will literally give anybody the shirt off her back. But like growing up, we had like all throughout my childhood, we had different people living with us, and like not understanding, like she would just say, "Oh, that's your cousin. This is your tita, your auntie. Like this is this person. This is your uncle. This is your tito. This is your cousin. Like this is family." And then growing up and learning that those were just like her friends or like passers through, and like just situations like that. Like she bought people mattresses. She's invested in people's homes. She's like just things like that. And she works her ass off. And now that she's getting older, like she's still doing it. Like her family is in the Philippines. She's the eldest of 9 siblings. And like her parents, my Lola and Lolo, moved to the States when she got older and when we were born. And my Lolo was working as a dishwasher at the Red Coat Tavern, and he would just send his whole check back to his kids. And after he passed away, my mom started doing that too. And I'm like, now as an adult, I'm like, Mom, you need to set better boundaries. Like, we need to understand like where this is going and like how it's impacting you. Like, are you feeling reciprocated? Are you feeling whole? We're having conversations like that where I'm like, are you giving to a detriment of self? Self-preservation first. But just like all of that in me, like people are like, why do you do the swaps? Why do you do so much service? Why do you do so much of this? And I'm like, that's all I know. That's all I know. Like, I know
literally,
because my mom hosts the baddest parties. Okay. Like, so like hostess with the mostest, give everything you can, love without bounds. Like and as an adult, I think now I'm learning how to do it for myself too.
Exactly. With boundaries.
With boundaries and love and respect for me. Because I say this all the time, selfishness is the first step to selflessness. So if you are whole and you feel complete and you feel full, you can give as much as you want, because everything is flow. But if you're just not there, if you're not giving and you're just giving it all away, like what are you giving away? You're not giving it away. Good,
Yeah, it's true.
But we are already at an hour, Nina. It went so fast. Okay, so what's your last tip or last thought that you want to give to the people? Like, what is your last piece of advice?
Let's love more. I feel like there's one of the things that I really like. You mentioned something earlier about practice, and I think that so I don't subscribe to any religion. I've studied a lot. I'm a very spiritual person, but I often say love is my religion. And it really is. Love is my religion. Love is my practice. Love is going to be my legacy. And when I say love, I mean real, true, not unconditional, because we've been taught that. And so, no, we can leave that alone, leave that in the past, because we get to have conditions, right?
Yeah.
To the end of self-preservation, but just that true, authentic, divine, God level love, meeting every soul with that, it has made this life that I live the most beautiful love story ever, because I lead with that really and genuinely and truly. Every team member that I take on, everybody that walks in the Bass Blue that, when I'm working, anybody that, is connected with me through, opportunity for mentorship, anything, anybody that I touch, my intention is to have them, one, leave better than they came, but also really feel what love feels like genuinely and truly, not superficially, not in it for an exchange, not because you're doing a thing for me, but like, I see you, I see the God in you, and you deserve wholeheartedly to be given all the things that you desire, and you want, like, approaching every relationship like that. It's the secret sauce. It really is. That with drinking your water and minding your business, I feel like it'll keep you young forever, like literally, and it'll keep the blessings flowing. Like literally, every day I'm like, there's so much more coming in, and I'm so grateful, but I'm also like, I know it's God. I know it's because of who I show up to be and how I love, and because that's all it can't be anything. There's no other direct connect, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm good. There's a thousand chefs that are good, you know what I mean? There's so many people that are catering and doing events, like that, but I'm clear that that everything I touch is also touched by the divine, and it's because of the love, and it's because of the intentionality that I lead with, which is all rooted in love. And so, yeah, love more, like love yourself more, right? Starting with you, because then you can give that overflow. But when you approach every day, every opportunity, every interaction, it's an opportunity to love and to exchange that God energy. Like, that is what I want to leave people with. Like, practice. It's a practice. Love is a practice. And we've been taught some really wonky, funky things,
Yeah.
because of poverty, because of scarcity, because of, just trauma. And I feel like part of my life's mission is to unlearn for myself what we've learned collectively from the media, from just living in a capitalistic society that kind of jacks up all the things, right? There's a big unlearning that we have to do, and a reacclimation to who we want to be, based upon our own morals and desires, and conception of what life and love look like. And so I just want to inspire people to dig deep and find what that really means for you, what resonates for you as love, not what you were taught, not what it was in a book, right? But when you feel your most full, your most seen, your most complete, and then just pay it forward, give it away, and sow that into everything you touch. Yep.
I love it so much, and I love you. I'm
I love
so
you.
I hope these blessings keep unfolding for you tenfold over and over and over again.
Likewise.
Like this over and over and over again. I'm so, so proud of you. I'm so grateful that we met. I'm so thankful that you're in
Yes.
my life. Like, this was beautiful. Okay, wait, before we
Yes.
go, tell everybody where they can
Okay.
find
So you can find me on Facebook for the old school folks at Nina F Love Personal, Business The Love Experience. On Instagram, at Queen Nina Free Love, and that's personal. And then business is the.love_experience. The website is theloveexp.com. And where else am I? TikTok, I'm dibbling and dabbling. You don't need that. I'm still exploring and trying to figure it out.
all over
But
the news. You're in every article. You're doing all the
I
shit.
have, yes,
If you don't see
Channel
her,
7. There's a segment out on Channel 7. If you look up the draft information, I have an article in Cranes, and I think also in Detroit News, and hopefully more to come. I have another podcast I'm recording this afternoon with Black Leaders Detroit, so that'll be out. This will be out. So yeah, find your girl. I'm out here. Like you said, I'm outside.
I love it. Amazing. Well, thank you, Nina, so much. And thank you all for joining us today on the Let's Glow Show. My name is Amanda Sweet, the Creative Fairy Godmother, and we'll see you next week. Bye.